Today's larger, heavier equipment can lead to more soil compaction issues. Firestone Ag IFVF tires with 82 technology maximize load capacity while minimizing soil compaction. Visit firestoneag.com to learn more. And we're back, talking markets with Mike Zuzolo, president of Global Commodity Research and Analytics. Mike, we talked about the yield bump in corn. My question now, soybeans also got a little bigger domestically in that USDA report. Does that line up with what you were thinking?
Yeah, it does, Mike. And I think that's where probably beans have more downside if the wheat and the corn can't catch. And I'm specifically worried about because of the 280 million bushel ending stocks number for this current marketing year. I'm worried about the beans losing more in new crop because I think the trade's starting to wonder how we're going to hold on to corn acres with the bean corn ratio of 2.5. It probably needs to be closer to 2.4 or a little bit below as we get ready and get ramped up for that February base price number that we get from the crop insurance industry and USDA.
You know, also, of course, when we get to February, Mike, we'll have a handle, or a better handle, rather, on what's coming out of Brazil. What's the market's take on the situation down there right now?
Well, that's a good question because it's a very timely question from a standpoint of weather. Next week's weather in South America, center west Brazil specifically, is going to be a big deal to me, Mike, because we still have production issues in Mato Grosso and surrounding provinces. Next week, we're supposed to see a lot of rain come in and pretty much ease and take away most of the drought potential for the rest of the crop year. So that's a big deal to me, and I think that's going to be one of the big movers potentially in next week's trade.
Are you advising growers to do anything with their new crop 24 beans as of yet, Mike, or do we sit still and watch how things develop?
No, I'm really on the hunt for that, Mike. I think this is one of those markets where if you take out the report day lows on a closing basis, I'm assuming that the funds will take hold of that and take us down another 5 to 8%. I think getting some known cost options to protect and put in a floor might be a good idea on a one-to-one basis.
All right, Mike, I want to turn our focus over to the cattle industry. We saw the livestock markets, cattle in particular, have a 3-month sell-off. It seems as though they've caught a little bit of a bottom here. What do you think?
Yeah, the warmer weather in the southern plains, much like the soybeans, it's supposed to be coming in next week. I think Garden City, Kansas is supposed to be in the mid-50s next week. If those models actually do materialize in terms of real weather, we're going to have to watch to see if this market finds liquidation by the longs. USDA didn't do us any favors when it came to the supply demand report, the WASDE numbers. They put in between taking beef exports down, beef imports up, and raising production. They took 2024 beef production up about 250 million pounds. That's about a 1% increase on the production number. So I'm still a hedger in early 2024. I'd like to get a couple dollars, $3 higher in the April futures before going after those hedges, though.
All right, Mike, before we let you go, crude oil, we've seen a big pullback in crude here. Should farmers be doing anything to plan for the remainder of the year?
I think so, Mike. We've had this bigger supply, bigger stocks come in on both the crude oil and the distillates, but yet we saw a slight increase, about 5-6 cents last week on national diesel prices. I'm inclined to think crude oil and wheat will make an early year low in 2024, so I'm going to try and get ahead of getting some locked in before that low theoretically would come in. So something to certainly keep an eye on.
All right, time is now to make those decisions for the future of your operation. Mike Zuzolo, president of Global Commodity Research and Analytics, thanks so much for joining us this week.
Thank you, Mike.